Have you ever really stopped to think about whether you're in the driver's seat of your own life? I mean, really in control? This whole question of free will is one of the oldest and, honestly, one of the most personal puzzles in all of philosophy. And today, we're diving into metaphysical libertarianism, which offers a pretty bold, no-compromise answer to that very question.
Just think about the last decision you made. What to eat for lunch, what show to binge watch, who to text back. Was that choice really freely made by you? Or was it just the unavoidable outcome of a massive chain of cause and effect that started way, way before you were even born?
When you strip it all down, the whole debate kind of looks like this. On one side, you've got determinism. This idea says the entire story of the universe, including every single thing you do, is already written. There's only one road. But then on the other side, you've got free will. And that idea insists that at any given moment, there are multiple roads, multiple paths genuinely open to you. You really could have chosen differently.
Okay, so how do we actually defend that idea of multiple possible futures? Well, this is where metaphysical libertarianism steps onto the stage. It's a philosophy that puts forward a truly radical vision of what it means to be free.
And let me tell you, their definition does not mess around. Libertarians are what we call incompatibilists. That just means they believe you can't have it both ways. It's one or the other. Either the universe is a straight line, determined, or we have free will. They say you gotta pick a side. And libertarians, they plant their flag firmly on the side of free will.
The logic is actually super straightforward. It all starts with that powerful gut feeling we all have that we do make our own choices. So if you accept that feeling as true, and you also accept that it just can't exist in a predetermined world, well, then the only conclusion left is that the world isn't predetermined. So you see, it's not just a hunch. It's a real structured philosophical argument.
But how does it actually work? I mean, if our choices aren't just the result of everything that came before, where in the world do they come from? Well, libertarians offered two main explanations for where this freedom comes from. So the first path is what's called agent causation. This basically suggests that your mind, the agent, that's you, is kind of special. It exists a little bit outside the normal physical chain of dominoes. It can just start a new chain of events all by itself. Then there's the second path, event causation, which tries to find that freedom inside the physical world, looking for little cracks or gaps in that causal chain that would allow for a real choice.
And to really get a feel for that first idea, agent causation, just listen to this quote from the philosopher Roderick Chisholm. "A prime mover unmoved." Wow. What he's saying is that you are basically like a little god. When you make a truly free choice, you are the starting point. The buck stops with you. Nothing made you make that choice, you just made it.
Now, the other approach tries to stay completely within the known laws of physics. These theories search for indeterminism, moments of genuine randomness or probability that already exist in the universe. Think about something like quantum mechanics. If the universe isn't some perfect clockwork machine, then maybe, just maybe, that randomness provides the elbow room we need for free will to exist.
To make this a little less, abstract, let's zoom in on a really influential modern theory from a philosopher named Robert Kane. He's put together one of the most detailed blueprints for how this physical, event-causal kind of libertarianism could actually work.
Okay, so Kane's first big idea is something he calls ultimate responsibility. For him, free will isn't really about the small stuff, like choosing tea or coffee. No, it's about being the ultimate source of your own character, your values, your life's purpose. You have to be the architect who designed the you that's making the choice in the first place. So how do we become that ultimate source? Kane points to these things he calls self-forming actions, or SFAs. Think of them as these rare, really tough moments in your life when you're completely torn between two different paths. Like, do you take the hard but honest route, or the easy but shady one? He says the outcome in those moments is genuinely undetermined. And in that struggle, whichever way you choose literally forges the kind of person you're going to be.
Now, as you can probably imagine, this whole idea of radical, almost magical freedom, well, it's not without its critics. Both scientists and other philosophers have thrown some seriously tough questions at the libertarian view.
And this brings us to maybe the biggest, most persistent problem for libertarians. If a choice isn't determined by anything that came before it, then how is it any different from just a random fluke? Are we saying our freedom is just luck? This is called the luck objection, and it's a powerful one. Critics basically say, hey, wait a minute. If a choice wasn't caused by your character or your reasons, then it isn't really your choice, is it?
It's just a random thing that happens to you. And really, how can you be responsible for the outcome of a cosmic coin toss? This is a huge hurdle for any libertarian theory to clear.
The second major challenge doesn't come from a philosopher's armchair. Nope, this one comes straight out of a laboratory. And modern neuroscience asks a really weird question. What if your brain decides to do something before you do?
So in these now famous experiments by Benjamin Libet, researchers could actually see brain activity signaling a decision to move like a few hundred milliseconds before the person reported consciously deciding to move. This seems to hint that our conscious feeling of, I'm deciding now, might just be an illusion that comes after the real decision has already been made by our brain.
And the critiques, they don't stop there. You've got compatibilists who argue that libertarians are just defining free will all wrong from the get-go. The whole idea of agent causation is often called spooky or unscientific. And even Kane's specific theory has problems. Critics say these self-forming actions he talks about might be so incredibly rare that most of us might never even have one, meaning we'd never actually be free by his own definition.
So, at the end of the day, we're left with this massive puzzle. For libertarianism to be true, our choices have to live in this tiny, incredible space. They can't be predetermined by the past, but they also can't be just random chance. They have to be something else, something authored completely and totally by us. And that leaves all of us with the biggest question to chew on. What could that possibly be?